Hey kids, it's June 26th, Friday. Today was an interesting day because it was so hot that schools were closed, so we were all at home together. It was a long day. Both your mother and I are physically and mentally exhausted, but in the best possible way. We spent the whole day together, doing ordinary things, playing, driving around, just being a family. I'm actually recording this from our bedroom, and I can hear your voices outside in the garden, playing with your mother. I'll be with you in just a few minutes. Today I want to talk about something I've been practicing for most of my life, without even realizing it had a name. The first time I remember doing it was when your grandmother, my mother, was diagnosed with breast cancer. I think I was around 10 years old. As you can imagine, that's a heavy thing for a child to hear. But something strange happened. Instead of pushing the thought away, I kept imagining what my life would be like if she died. Not in a dramatic or depressive way. I wasn't trying to make myself suffer. It was almost as if I was quietly preparing myself for something that might happen. And over the years, I found myself doing the same thing with many of the people and things I loved. I would imagine losing them. Losing my family, my friends, my work, my home. Not because I wanted those things to happen, but because somehow it made me appreciate them more. Years later, I discovered that this is actually a Stoic practice. It's called negative visualization. The idea is incredibly simple. Every now and then, imagine that something or someone you love is no longer there. Not because you expect the worst, not because you're trying to become pessimistic, but because remembering that everything is temporary changes the way you live today. Imagine not hearing your mother's voice anymore. Imagine not being able to hug your brother or sister. Imagine your last breakfast together without knowing it was the last. I know that sounds sad, and in a way it is. But Stoicism doesn't ask us to think about these things so we become afraid of life. It asks us to think about them so we stop sleeping through life. That's the real purpose. Because as human beings, we quickly get used to the good things. There's actually a name for it: hedonic adaptation. We get used to our health, our family, our home, our friends, even our ordinary days. And once we get used to them, we stop noticing how precious they really are. Negative visualization wakes us up. It reminds us that nothing is guaranteed. Not this day, not this conversation, not our health, not the people we love. And when you truly understand that, something changes. You become more patient. You complain a little less. You hug a little longer. You say, "I love you," a little more often. You stop postponing kind words. Because you realize that ordinary moments aren't ordinary at all. Very often, they are life itself. There's another beautiful side to this practice. It also prepares us for difficult moments. When my mother eventually passed away, when my big brother, who was almost like a father to me, passed away. Of course, I was deeply sad, but I wasn't completely broken. I think this practice had prepared me, not by removing the pain, nothing can do that, but by teaching me over many years that everything we love is borrowed. And that made me cherish every moment while I still had it. Now, I don't want you to live in fear. That's not the lesson. The lesson is not to constantly ask, "What if everything goes wrong?" The lesson is to gently ask, "What would I miss if this disappeared tomorrow?" And then treat it accordingly. If you imagine losing your health, you'll probably take better care of your body. If you imagine losing your parents, you'll probably speak to them more kindly. If you imagine losing your children one day, you'll probably put your phone away and be more present. If you imagine losing your home, you'll probably feel grateful every time you walk through the front door. That's why I don't think negative visualization is negative at all. It's one of the most beautiful exercises I know, because it turns what you already have into enough. So don't wait until something is gone to realize its value. Don't wait until someone is far away to tell them you love them. Don't wait until your body hurts to appreciate your health. Once in a while, imagine the absence, then come back to the present with more gratitude, more patience, and more love. That is negative visualization, not imagining loss so you suffer twice, but imagining loss so you can truly live today. And do not ever forget, I love you both very, very much.